There are certain types of personalities out there that are, well, there's no other way to put it. They're toxic. They're toxic to be around. They're toxic to work with. They're toxic to work for. And if they work for you, they make your life miserable. Today's topic is about type A personalities, or more precisely, the people who self-identify as being a type A personality as if it's some sort of badge of honor. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's most definitely not a badge of honor. And in many instances, it's mostly a maladaptive trait. So when somebody sits down with me and states that they're a type A personality, usually I just get up and leave. And the reason why I get up and leave is because type A personalities are not exactly what people think they are when they self-identify as being one. That doesn't necessarily mean they're not one. It just means that when they say it, they think it's a positive. It is most certainly a negative. For instance, a lot of people, when they say that they're a type A personality, what they're trying to tell you is that they're kind of an alpha, sort of a big deal. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because type A personalities and alpha personalities don't have a whole lot in common. There might be a little bit of overlap, but only superficially. And upon closer inspection, you see how quickly it all falls apart as far as the comparison is concerned. When you're in a group dynamic and somebody announces that they're a type A personality, well, that person has a lot of deep-seated insecurities rooted in failure and fear of rejection. Does that sound like somebody that you want to spend time with? I mean, by comparison, can you imagine an individual walking into a group dynamic and stating to the room, "I'm an alpha"? That's hilarious. It just doesn't happen. At least I've never seen it happen. But I've been in plenty of rooms where multiple people will come right out in the open and state that they're type A personalities. And all I can think is, I don't think that person knows what that means. The doctors that came up with the classifications of type A and type B stated that those particular personality classifications had more to do with your risk over a lifetime of having a cardiac event or cardiac related problems. It had nothing to do with being the dominant force in a room or a leader or a warrior or any of that happy crap. Basically, what they did was they identified a bunch of risk factors for certain personality types and classified them as type A and type B. Type A were considered to be high-strung, highly neurotic, given to stress and worrying. Does that sound like an alpha to you? Because it sure doesn't to me. Whereas the type B personality, you guessed it, was considered to be lower stress. They were considered to have a better grasp on their environment and the situation at large. They didn't get overwhelmed easily. So how come nobody's walking into a room and self-identifying as a type B personality? Mostly out of ignorance, and mostly because type A personalities aren't going to do the due diligence it takes to figure out what the definition of type A personality actually means. And that's funny. Now, if you're the type of person who identifies as type A, this video might have been a bit of a rough ride for you. But you have to understand something, and this is incredibly important, not just for the contents of this video, but for life in general. When somebody attacks a label or an idea, they're not attacking you. Did you get that? So if you're sitting there watching this and you think that I'm a jerk because I said that type A personalities are kind of useless and not worth working with, well, maybe that's right. Maybe I am kind of a jerk. But that doesn't make it any less true. So put that label to rest. Being a type A is neither positive nor good. It's not something you should be claiming nor bragging about. It's the kind of thing that sends up all sorts of warning flags for people like me. When I hear you say that you're a type A, I know that it's time to move along. Try to keep that in mind before you jump on some label because you like the way it sounds. All of these things mean something. Definitions matter. And if you ignore the definitions in favor of the label, you're missing the point. So if you're type A personality and you've made it this far and your feelings are hurt, I'm not sorry, but you need to rethink who you are, or at least what you keep calling yourself. Also, you're welcome.